In this video, I'm going to share with you how much it costs to start and run an online coaching business. There is a lot of misconception about this. So by the end of this video, you're going to know with 100% certainty what you need to pay for. And I'm also going to share things with you that you may not need, but will really make your life so much easier. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dr. Matt, and I've helped 300 plus health coaches start and scale online coaching programs over the last 3 years. And I've found that you can run a very lean business with high profit margins if you know what you're doing. So let's jump into my computer and get started. All right, so I went ahead and I've got this document pulled up, and what I've done is I've broken this down into stages, okay? So we're gonna kind of go over this stage by stage based on the number of coaching clients that you have. We'll start off if you're brand new. These are the things that you absolutely need, and then as we continue on, as you get 50 or 100 clients, you're gonna see the changes that you're gonna need to make in your business to be able to run a business of that size. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. If you're a brand new coach, the coolest part of this is you don't need pretty much anything to get started. You can get started with just a couple software things right here, okay? Number one, you're gonna want a coaching software, and that can cost you 25 to 50 bucks a month. If you're a health and fitness coach, we really like True Coach, Trainerize, Train Heroic, or My Coach AI. It's a new one that we've been talking to. Great team. But honestly, the coaching software doesn't matter as much because they all do the same features, right? They're all gonna give your clients workouts, nutrition advice, habits, all of that stuff. So it really doesn't matter what software you choose. What I did when I was choosing, I ended up using True Coach for one-on-one, was that I just went on a bunch of product demo calls, asked all the questions, asked for a trial. They let me try it out. And I try to see which of these did I like the best. And ultimately, True Coach was the one that I liked the most, so I ended up going with that. Now, I say True Coaching software is what you want to have when you're getting started, but honestly, when I started too, I just used Google Docs or Google Sheets or Excel and would send all of the programming inside of there. I don't think it's super professional, especially if you're going to be charging 350 to 500 bucks a month. I would encourage you to go ahead and jump in and get a software, especially because they are so cheap. Typically, these plans also go based off of how many users you have. Most of you guys, if you're brand new, only have, maybe 0 to 5, maybe 0 to 10 clients. So you're gonna pay between 25 and 50 bucks a month. Super simple. It's gonna professionalize the experience that the clients have. Go ahead and just get it. All right, so that's one software. The second thing you're gonna need is a payment processor. So Stripe and Wave, or PayPal. PayPal you could also lump in here. I like Stripe and Wave better. They're a little bit easier for me to bill somebody again. My issue with PayPal is that if I get someone's information, like they purchase from me, if they need to make another purchase, I have to then send them another invoice. Where with Stripe and Wave, I could just go into their account and run their card again. So I personally use Stripe for my coaching business, but I've got a lot of clients that use Wave as well. Now, the cool part of these payment processors is you don't pay anything until you make money, right? So they take a 2 to 3% processing fee. So you're not gonna pay, 25, 50 bucks a month. You're just gonna pay when you get cash, okay? So Stripe or Wave, wanna get a payment processor. Third thing is a place to market yourself. And if you're doing health and fitness coaching, Instagram is the best place to do that. It's a very visual platform. It's where most, all of our clients are getting leads. We've got a couple who use Facebook as well, but Instagram and Facebook are both free and they're connected, okay? So you don't need anything fancy beyond that, okay? Get an Instagram account, set it up as a creator account and start posting content. All right, the next thing is Canva, right? Canva is free. This is a software that you can use to make carousel slides for Instagram. They can be used to make just standalone posts. You can't do a lot of video editing on there, but you don't really need to. Like when you're getting started, you could use Instagram Reels, the native app, to make your videos. All right. And then the last thing on here is going to be Google Docs and Sheets or Google Drive. I use this for almost, I'm doing it right now. I'm using it for this, but I use it for so much data, tracking, client fulfillment, all of that stuff. I just have a bunch of Google Sheets, Google Docs that I link out and give access to my clients as well as my team. And Google Docs, Google Drive is free, right? If you want to get a bunch of storage, like a few terabytes, it might cost you 10, 20 bucks a month. But for most people getting started, you can have a free account that's attached to your Gmail account. Okay. So if you're a new coach, this is all you really need. Okay. And in total, this is going to cost you 50 bucks a month. Okay. Your margins off this are going to be as high as they possibly can be, right? You should have 95% margins. It's like 5% of your stuff is going to go to operational costs. This is if you are brand new and you have less than 5 or 10 clients. Okay. We're going to say less than 10 clients. Now, you might be asking, Matt, what about my LLC? What about liability insurance? All of that. Well, that's going to be the next step, right? I typically, this is me personally, this can be up to you and your risk tolerance, but I typically will, if I'm going to have a new offer or a new program, I want to sell it and make sure that people want it before I start going down the process of having all of my LLC, EIN number, bank accounts, like all of those things. Those will take time. And if you're getting started and have less than 10 clients, go ahead and just get your feet a little dirty and start selling, start coaching, see if you like it. And once you do, that's when we'll go to the next step where we can start to professionalize the business just a little bit more. Okay. So if you're brand new, keep it lean. All you need is a payment processor and a coaching software, and everything else in here is free. Now, once you've got 10 or 20 clients and your revenue is between $3,500 and $10,000 a month, so this is still a beginner level coach, here are the things that you're going to need. Okay. Number one, since you're making money now, we need to get an LLC. Now, LLCs are going to be different rates based off of the different states you're in, but typically you're going to pay between $75 and $100 to file your LLC. Now, if you're in New York, California, or some of those states, they might be a little bit more expensive, but I know for me, it was $75 to $100 to file. Very, very simple, very fast. You can do it on your own. You can go type in YouTube, how to file for an LLC. There's going to be thousands of videos. You go to ChatGPT, it'll help you do the same. Okay. So LLC, all right. That's a one-time fee. The second thing you're going to want to get, now this is ongoing, liability insurance. Okay. You want liability insurance. This is going to cost between $50 and $100 a month. Okay. And typically people will get professional liability insurance or maybe even general liability insurance. I'm not an expert in this. I encourage you to reach out to the company that you're looking for and ask them what they think would be best for you. All right, so I've got the actual company that we recommend our clients to get malpractice insurance through and from, and it's HPSO. So this is a place where you can get it. You can get it for if you're a fitness professional. You can also get it if you're a physical therapist or whatever else you do. Now, if you are doing online strength and conditioning coaching, again, talk to them about this, but from my understanding, if I was going to start an online coaching business, fitness coaching, strength and conditioning, even though I am a licensed physical therapist, I'm actually going to get the malpractice insurance for a fitness professional. That's my understanding of it. But again, I'd highly recommend you guys to just get a quote, and you can even contact them and ask them, and they'll let you know. Okay. So you're going to want to get liability insurance. It's $50 to $100 a month. It's totally worth it, just so that if anything ever were to happen, that you're covered. Okay. Third thing, this one is being pulled up from above, is still having that coaching software. Now, as you get more clients, your rate for this typically increases. But if you're only doing 10 to 20 clients, it's probably still going to be under $75. So I put between 25 and $50, probably the same as when you started. Now, the next thing, this is a new one that was added on here, is we want a calendar booking software. Now, this is going to be used for sales calls, and it can also be used for client calls. If you're starting to get 10, 20 clients a month, or just you have total, you're probably going to have some check-in calls that you're going to want to do with them, renewal calls, all of that stuff. And a calendar booking software is going to make your life so much easier. So much easier. Now, calendar booking software, this is typically going to cost around $20 a month. It's not going to be super expensive. You can use apps like Calendly, Acuity, You Can Book Me, but Calendly is probably the most popular one. And once you have more than 20 clients, I'm going to share with you a better CRM software. But at this stage, when you're at 10, 20 clients, you don't need so much infrastructure and systems yet. You can run really lean, and lean is the way to go when you're getting started. Okay, so calendar booking software, $20 a month. All right, next one. This one was pulled from above as well. Again, we're using Stripe or Wave as a payment processor. And then the other three that I pulled up from above, Also got pulled down here, Google Docs, Instagram, and Canva. Okay. So in total, this is going to be about $150 a month. I didn't include this as like a one-time fee, right? So we're really looking at the liability insurance plus the coaching software plus the calendar booking system is going to be around $150 to $200 a month. And again, your margins on this should be very, very high, right? If you're making $3,500 to $10K a month and you're only spending $150 to $250, your margins are above 95%. Awesome, keep going, okay? You don't need a VA yet. You don't need a video editor yet. You don't need an assistant coach yet. You don't need someone to run ads for you. None of that, okay? You can do all of this on your own. It's too small. Your job when you start this business should be, how can I collect as much cash as possible and keep my margins as high as possible? Because after every hire you make and more systems you buy, your profit margin is going to start to shrink as your expenses go up. All right. One more thing that I put down here that's optional. Once you're doing $3,500 a month to 5K, I personally would recommend you starting to put 10 to 20% of your revenue back into marketing. Okay. And what this could be in terms of where they're going to, I personally really like Instagram ads. I think it's one of the fastest ways to build an audience and get more clients fast. So that's what I recommend. But you could also use this 10 to 20% for video editing. You could use it for a graphic designer, right? But these should be kind of ongoing expenses that help you acquire more customers. Okay. Yeah. If you want to be cautious and you're getting started and you're primarily organic, 10% going to marketing is great. If you want to be more aggressive, 20% is great. Okay. Now, if you're in this revenue mark, I would suggest starting at 10%, but if you have another job while you're building this business, go with 20% so you can build this faster, so you can make that jump into doing this full time. Okay. All right. So this is stage 2, 10 to 20 clients. Again, margins super high. We don't need that much stuff. All right. Now let's jump to the next section here. This is gonna be when you have between 20 and 50 clients. Okay. So you have between 20 and 50 clients, your revenue, your top line revenue is between $7,500 and $25,000 a month. Okay. Now, once we get here, now we're going to start to have some bottlenecks of time. So we are going to need to start hiring people and building and having a little more systems and software to make our life a whole lot easier. Okay. So when we get to this stage, if you have between 20 and 50 clients, you're going to want a virtual assistant or an assistant coach pretty much during this time phase. Okay. Now, the virtual assistant, what they're going to be helping you with primarily is going to be helping you book more sales calls. And they can also help with some back-end stuff like sending clients contracts. There's some software in here can also do that, but there might be some things that you just need to do manually with the systems you've got set up. And you can task the VA to do that in addition to helping you book calls. Okay. But a big part, like typically one of the first hires that we will make in a coaching business is going to be someone who can message clients, who can be in the inbox for you, DMs, emails, text messages, and just book calls for you. Okay. And to do that, like you're going to probably pick one or the other at this stage. And this is going to be between a 2 to 3K a month hire. But again, it should give you so much time because when you're starting a business or even when you're running a business, the two things that will take the most amount of your time are going to be fulfillment, which is AKA coaching. And then the next part is lead generation, which is talking to prospects in the DMs, trying to book calls with them. Okay. Because most calls nowadays are booked in the DMs. They're not just going to book on your Calendly link. They want to talk to you or your team to make sure it's a good fit before they hop on a call. So if you can have some support there and you have someone in your inbox for 4 to 8 hours a day, you're going to book a lot more calls, sign a lot more clients, and be able to make a lot more money and help more people in the process. Okay. So once you get to this revenue range or this client load, look at hiring somebody to do that for you, or look at freeing up some of your time in the coaching department. Okay. But I would pick one to start. And it really depends on your bottleneck, right? If your bottleneck is not booking calls or applications, it might be coaching, hire that. If you're not booking enough calls, hire someone who can help you book more calls. Okay, so this should be based off of the bottleneck or constraint you're currently experiencing. Okay, up next, liability insurance. This is going to stay from above. Nothing's going to be different here. Now they're at 20 to 50 clients. We're probably going to upgrade our Zoom account. So beforehand, you can use Zoom. It's free for 30 or 45-minute calls. But now as you start to get more clients, you're taking on more sales calls, it's worth just getting the Zoom upgrade for $20 a month. All right, up next is going to be the coaching software. So again, this is pulled from above. Now, because we're starting to get into the 50 client range, this could increase to $100. This can be between 25 and $100. All right, and the next thing, this one is going to be really, really helpful. So this software right here runs my entire business. It's called Go High Level, and this will replace the simple calendar booking system that you had above. And this doesn't just have your calendar booking system, it also has a CRM that walks you through the stages of where your clients are. And it can have website pages, aka landing pages, funnels, text messages, emails, DM automation. Everything is inside of here. And this thing is so powerful. And I'm very grateful that I got onto it when I did. So once you're at this revenue range, it is totally worth setting this up because this will replace, again, your calendar booking software, and it can also replace some of the Google Docs and stuff that you're using for tracking purposes. Okay, this is going to be really important as you continue to grow, is to have a CRM so that no leads will just fall through the cracks. Okay, next thing you're going to get when you're at this range is we're going to want to get a Google domain. Okay, a Google domain. This is going to allow us to start building a website. And you did hear that right. Nothing above here says website. If you got 10, 20 clients, you don't really need to make a website. But once you get to this range where you have 20 to 50 clients, it's a good idea to, again, continue to professionalize the business. So you're going to want to get a domain. And typically what I get for most domains is just having your name. So mine is mattshiver.com. You can do the same for your name. Or if you have a business that has a program name, you can just use that too. Okay. Now, once you get a domain, you're then going to want to set up a Google Workspace. And this is going to be between $10 to $50 a month. And this is going to be depending on how many employees or contractors you have with that email address. Okay. Because you need an email address like mattshiver.com so that I can have contractors or my team members have, like for me, my business email is matt@mattshiver.com. My team, I have a coach named Courtney. I have a coach named Jake, Aaron, Mallory. All of them have their name at mattshiver.com, right? And you need that as you keep hiring people so that, again, you can professionalize the business. And then you, as the business owner, can oversee any of the email communication that your clients have with your employees, which you can do when you have them all linked up under your Google Workspace. Okay. Now, it says 10 to $50 a month because typically it's like $6 to $10 per user, right? So like if it's just you and one virtual assistant, it might only cost you $20 a month, right? But if you've got a team of 5 or 6 coaches, it's going to be $50 plus a month because you have more people who need seats for the workspace. Got it? Cool. All right. The next tool that you're going to want here at this 20 to 50 client mark is going to be Zapier. Zapier is a game changer and it will automate and connect a lot of stuff that you've got in here, right? So you can connect Loom to Go High Level. You can connect Google Docs, Instagram, Canva. Like we can connect all of these actions to Go High Level, to Loom, or to Zoom so that all of the things are communicating together and you can create some really simple automations, okay? You're gonna need it. Just trust me on that. Even like your purchasing, right? So if I use Go High Level and I set this up for my website, I hook my domain up to it. Now I can send a link that's also connected to Stripe inside of from Go High Level. And when that person buys, a zap could happen that gives them access to the coaching software, right? And then it sends them a contract and it sends them all the things they need. We can do all of that with Zapier, okay? This thing is a game changer once you learn how to use it. So just trust me on that. All right, and now we're gonna jump down to the last one here. These are the same as what were listed above, right? Google Docs, Instagram, Canva. That stays the exact same, okay? So now that we're making money, we gotta start spending money to keep this thing growing, right? Because we can only grow a business with time or money. And once we have enough money, it's better for us to let our money work for us so we don't have to keep spending as much time on the business. So before I said, your total, the last stage, if you have 10 to 20 clients, you might only be spending $150 a month. Well, now that we have hired a virtual assistant or an assistant coach, paying him around 2 to 3K a month, and we have all of these expenses here, we're now looking at around $2,500 to $3,000 a month to run the business. Now, that's a big range, right? But like over here, it says like if you're doing between 7,500 to 25,000, we're not going to hire a virtual assistant at 2 or 3 grand a month if we're only making 7,500, right? You need to push it a little bit more until you're doing 10, 15K a month before you would make that hire. But that's why there's a range here, because your margins should still be really high. If your business is only making $7,500 a month and you're spending $2,500 in operations, that's too high, right? So just know that this is a sliding scale. As you continue to make more revenue, more money will be spent. But the most important part is that our margins are still going to be really high. Okay. Our margins for the entire business in general, we want it to be as close to 40, 50% as possible as we continue to grow the business. Okay. That's kind of our goal. Sometimes it can get like the 30, 40%, but do not let it, I highly recommend trying not to let your profit to get below 30%, especially for an online business that has very little overhead. It probably means that the team is bloated. Okay. And then again, I put down here another optional 10 to 20% of the revenue to go back towards marketing so that you can continue to grow faster, right? So if you were doing 80% margins, you put 20% of that back into the business, you still have 60% overall to take home. That's good. That's great. Keep it going. Okay. All right. So last stage here, this is going to be the big daddy stage. This is going to be the stage where you're going to start to invest more money into your business. And again, margins will decrease, but your overall take home is going to increase because you're making more money. Okay. If you have between 50 and 100 clients, you should be making $15,000 to $50,000 a month with this number of clients. Yeah. In this ballpark. Okay. So now that we're here, the last stage we talked about, you're going to need to hire a virtual assistant or an assistant coach. At this stage, if you have 50 to 100 clients, you're going to probably need 2 people, at least 2 people. Okay. You're going to want a virtual assistant that's around 2K a month. And primarily, again, their job is going to be helping you book more calls. They'll be in the DMs, inbox, emails, just trying to book you more sales opportunities so that you can take those calls and sign them up. Okay. I didn't put on here a closer or like a sales team yet. You could have you could have a closer around 100 clients, but for you to hire a closer, you really do need to have like at least 3 to 5 sales calls a day that you're taking to have somebody take that role and be able to make enough money to be able to like do that full time, right? Or do it to enough. Because like if your top line revenue is $50,000 and you hire a closer, typically you're going to pay them 10% per close. So if someone's working for you full time or has full time availability, their earning potential just off of this is only $5K a month. It's not that much, right? Like if you want a good closer, you need to be able to pay them $10K plus. So typically you're going to keep taking these calls until you're making $100,000 a month or around there of revenue to give someone the excitement to be able to take calls for you. Okay, if you want them to be good, right? If you don't want to be good, then you don't necessarily need to do that. But it's going to be a lot easier if someone has the earning potentials of a 6-figure income. Okay, so I did not put that in here. That was intentional. I think you should still be closing at this client load. Okay. All right. Next is, like I said, we're going to hire coaches and a virtual assistant. So based off the amount of clients that are in your pipeline or you guys have, as well as the touch points you have, you're probably going to need 1 to 2 assistant coaches. Now, with the assistant coaches, they typically can have a roster size of 50 to 75. 50 to 75 is very normal for a full-time assistant coach to have. Okay. Now, typically you're going to pay this assistant coach. It depends on what your touch points are, et cetera. But we want to keep this around 20 to 30% of the contract value. So if you have a coaching program that's $500 a month, right? 20% would be $100 a month per client. That's very, very, very fair, right? This is for health and fitness coaching. So if you're doing workouts, nutrition support, stuff like that, I typically go between $75 or like $65 to $100 a head to work with a client. Now, that's assuming that the touch points aren't like weekly calls or anything like that. That's typically one call a month, or it could be just email and messenger check-ins, okay? So 75 to $100 a month is pretty good. And again, we just want the total amount to be ideally under 20% of your contract value so that there's more money for these expenses and to reinvest back into marketing. Okay. All right. So 1 to 2 assistant coaches. Again, these coaches can service up to 50 to 75 clients each. And typically their take home with that is going to be between 4 to 6K a month. You can have some, if they're really skilled, earn closer to 8K a month, but most of them, they're going to be making 4 to 6K a month. They're not doing any marketing. They're not doing any sales. They're just coaching. Okay. And honestly, some coaches can do this part-time and still handle that amount of people and have another job on the side. Just make sure that they're able to do all the things they need to do during the day. Like they have the availability to respond to clients, to give the support, feedback, etc. All right, so all of these have been pulled from above, right? None of this is really different. All of these are the same. The only difference is your coaching software is probably going to be a little bit more expensive because you're starting to sign more clients. And typically those softwares will charge you per head or up to 100 people. So if you have more, it's going to bump you up to the next tier. Okay. And the same thing with the workspace. If you hire more people, you're going to be paying per head. So that will also increase. Okay. The only other thing that's new here is going to be this section right here, hiring a bookkeeper. Okay. This is going to be really helpful for you when it comes time for taxes, as well as to be able to analyze your P&L, which stands for profit and loss statement. So what this looks like, you probably can find someone on Upwork, Fiverr. You could probably go to your accountant and say, hey, do you know any bookkeepers? Or you could even go to Instagram and type in, bookkeeper, and use the SEO feature there. You'll get a bunch of people there. These people will categorize your expenses for you, give you P&L reports every month, and they'll also balance your accounts. So we'll have like a balance sheet that's up to date with all the money that's in your accounts. So when it comes time to taxes, you can file and with 100% certainty that it's taken care of, right? If not, you have to learn the skill of how to bookkeep, which it's not a hard skill to learn, but if you mess up and you file for taxes and you get audited, there could be a lot of problems that happen in the future. It could really save you thousands of dollars to get a bookkeeper. So my encouragement, and this is after me trying to do it myself for a while, is to get the bookkeeper once you're in this range. Okay, just put that money aside. It's totally worth it. All right. So the total amount of money that it's going to cost you to run a business that's got 50 to 100 clients is going to be around $7,500 a month. Okay. Now, if you're making $50,000 and it costs you $7,500 to run the business, you're doing just fine and dandy, right? Like your margins are still going to be between 60 to 85%. Okay. Overall, this is operational. This does not include if I put money back into marketing, but your margins based off how we calculated them here are going to be 60 to 85%, right? Now, again, if you want to put 10 to 20% of that back into marketing, which I'd highly recommend you do, it'll help you continue to grow or even just maintain the level that you're at so you can keep bringing in more people, helping more people, making more money, etc. Okay? So these are the expenses that you need on a regular basis to run a successful coaching business. Now, there's some of these things that you could absolutely not use, like you don't have to use Zapier, you don't have to use a bookkeeper, you don't really have to use Google Workspace. A lot of these things you don't really need. You could have a coaching software and some Google Docs, an assistant coach, and you could have extremely high margins. But I will encourage you to start learning how to leverage technology and systems and automations so you can service more people and not spend so much time doing some of those busy tasks. So the software is like Go High Level, like Zapier, like hiring a bookkeeper to do some things for you, and even just hiring other people to take some of the heavy lifting off of your plate is really going to allow you to have more impact and more time. And that's the reason most of us started a business, is that we wanted the ability to help more people, make more money, and have more freedom. But oftentimes we start the business and we never get out of that seat. And we just keep grinding and grinding and grinding until we get burnt out. And then we'll either cut back on our clients or we might even go get a corporate job again. And it doesn't have to be that way if you learn how to build very, very, very simple systems and learn how to delegate responsibly. Okay. So that's all I got for today's video. If you guys want help with this, right? If you're like, Matt, this is awesome. I really just need some help, like understanding business and like, how do I hire? And I want more support. I want access to you and your team so I can just ask questions and not have to guess and do this all myself. I'll have a link below to schedule a call with our team. And it's a 45-minute call. You can hop on the call. And our job for that is just to hear more about what you're working on, to see if there's anything that we see that we can help with, and really just kickstart your process of learning how to be a real business owner. Okay. So if you're tired of doing it all yourself and you want more systems, more predictability, and you want to learn how to be a business owner, go ahead and click that link below, book a call with my team. And on the call, again, we'll talk more about what you're doing, what your goals are, and we'll let you know if we can help. All right. So that's all I got for today, and we'll see you guys next time.